Hey,
Ah,
reviews.
back up in here, yo.
Doctor Sleep, how does it end?
Shh, go to sleep.
With spoilers. Huge spoiler review.
Does he die?
Abracadabra, yo.
I think he dies.
Abracadabra. Alright, so, um,
He dies.
yes. Ian McGregor does die at the end.
He
Self-sacrifice.
burns himself alive.
Technically, for once in my opinion, it's one of those things where there's a self-sacrifice that technically does have a point because he gets so badly injured from a home chick anyways. She hits his femoral artery and he's more than likely going to bleed out before the paramedics get there anyways. So he's like, wait a minute, okay, I could either try to make it outside and maybe get saved by the paramedics. Probably not though, because I lost a crap ton of blood. And hold back our other main character.
Yeah.
Or he can stay there, keep all the evil that's in the hotel, and
In the hotel.
yeah, and
By setting it ablaze.
exactly.
Blaze of glory.
And technically, um, since the shine keeps him going,
Yeah, because she can talk to him through the shine.
yeah,
Even after he's dead.
which we find out later on in the film, earlier on in the film, I should say. I'm sorry, early on in the film, when Halloran from the first film
Yes.
comes and teaches young Danny what to do with the visiting ghosts from the hotel.
Yes.
Because once they lock onto you, they keep coming back until you do something about them. And which he basically explains to him that he can create these boxes in his mind and he can just lock them away.
Lock them away. And put him in that little maze where his dad froze to death.
Because he knew that maze so well, he basically had a blueprint of that in his mind. So that was another section of his brain, his mind, where he kept all those different spirits from the hotel. Now it's not quite clear at what point in time Danny kind of goes down the path of the drunk. I think we have to
early,
say,
early on as like a way to cope with.
well, I was gonna say I think it happens when his mom dies, right?
Yeah,
he says his mom dies when he's like 20, and then he says he doesn't know his dad, but he felt like the way to know his dad was to drink.
And then too, it stops some of the visions and stuff that he was getting.
Dulls his shine.
Yeah.
That's how he phrased it, and then later on someone else says it too, like, oh, your shine smells like it's greased up.
Yes, because the main villain basically was like, oh, your shine's so powerful, but because there's a dull, it gets dulled up because of the world and everything else.
And like even later on when she's like trying to suck some of it in, she's like, oh yeah, she's like, come on, Danny boy, and I was like, oh, okay,
because it shines so strong.
Yeah, so and it's kind of like one of those. If you guys have ever seen a Chronicle, where it's like, it's a muscle. So if you exercised it, at which that point he was like really strong when he was a kid. He just never continued to exercise it.
But I think he also too, he was afraid of what would happen, so he kind of just, I didn't want to use it.
Yeah, because for his experience, it was, hey, I have this shine, and all it did is cause a bunch of bad stuff to happen. That's what it was. Even the fact that he had it but didn't know how to use it to help people with it.
Yes, and then he could see
he saw these death flies.
Remember? Yeah, on people that he can see them before they die. He could see that like on their face that they're about to die.
Yeah.
And before his mom died, that's all he could see on her face.
Yeah, she was covered.
And he couldn't even look at her.
Yeah, because there was nothing he at that time he didn't know that there was any way he could get rid of them or anything he could do. He was just like, I don't want to see that. So to kind of, bear his not allow him to have to bear that tremendous weight of seeing that all his life, he started to drink and numb that, and that helped him kind of reassociate back with Jack Nicholson's character, his dad.
Yes.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I wish there was a smidge more, like maybe a flashback or two, like where he decides to do that or something, or I don't know, maybe
the flashback they do give is him first dealing with the old lady.
Yeah.
From the hotel, and basically as him as a kid being afraid of her, and then learning the technique to lock her away, and is basically confidently going to the restroom and be like, all right, I'm about to handle this.
And that shows him in a very a super confident mindset, hey, I know what Halloran showed me. Like, I can do this. What I'm saying I wanted to see is maybe somewhere where he had that confidence and then like started to waver as he got a little older. Maybe like 1 or 2 flashbacks where that kind of moment took place. Like, okay, I'm gonna start drinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been kind of cool in my personal opinion. I don't know if that's in the book or not. If it is, awesome. Then I would say why wasn't it in the movie? What else? Oh yes. Also, for the ending, how does it end? Basically, Abra is just her and her mom, and um, Danny visits her every now and again. However, there are still a few ghosts and spirits from the hotel
Yes.
that try to see her at the end. However, Danny has clearly explained how to.
Yeah, it's the same old lady because in the movie she gets released from his mind.
From his mind box, basically his mind maze, and he's clearly passed on how to handle these apparitions, these spirits, basically. Which again, big callback, or in my opinion, I feel like they were inspired a little bit from Inception because they set this Abra sets a mind trap, which I was kind of suspecting from the way the scene is set up that something wasn't quite right. But Rose, the hat, one of the True Knot, basically one of the people that it seemed like at some point all these people had the shine, but they were greedy, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I have this power, I want more, I want to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of turned into like a demonic version.
Yes, and you see them actually convert a girl over because she has powers in terms of just basically.
She's a pusher.
A pusher that pushes ideas into people's heads and uses them and basically mind controls them in a way.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, go to sleep. Shh, go to sleep.
I'm your friend.
Yeah. So basically, we need to use her because we can use her to basically
make it easier
control the kids that have the shine.
Yep.
And you see her convert her over to their group and basically and she goes, well, is this going to kill me? Doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter if it kills you.
You'll eat well and live long.
Yeah, you'll eat well and live long. And then later on she tells her, well, that's if there's good stuff to eat, then you'll live long.
And when she says you'll eat well, she's talking about eating other people's shine to increase their longevity. Basically, they found a way that kind of recharges them and keeps them young and youthful.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so back to that where there's the Inception scene. So she's trying to penetrate Abra's mind so she can figure out how to kind of get to her, kind of beat her because her shine is so much more stronger than that group. So they're trying to figure out how to get an edge on her. Abra sets a trap. So she thinks she's about to dig through her little library setup of files, and her hand gets stuck.
Yes.
And she can't move, and she's literally ripping her hand out of it to try to get it free.
And then actually
she's
Abra
taking steps back, and her feet are stuck to the floor, and it's kind of like ripping the skin off a little bit from her feet, just a little bit. And Abra's character, who she thought was sleeping in the bed, pops up and it's like a dummy.
Yeah.
So,
but then she also jumps into her brain and was just like, oh, what information do you have here?
Yeah.
Okay, this is cool. Okay, I'll take that.
So she's trying to get herself free from Abra's mind trap while also protecting her own brain, which you said is like a library. And it literally does look like a library.
Whole cathedral and library and things like that,
So that was interesting. Like I said, to me, I feel like that was like very Inception inspired. Like how there's different levels. And how they talk about traps in Inception as well too. So I thought that was pretty cool. I really like that aspect of the film. And then that mixed in like the kind of a little bit of the gore horror as it pulled a lot of her skin off her freaking hand. It's pretty gross looking. But also dope that when she finally was like, get out of my head. And she goes flying back, right? And she falls off the RV onto the ground. Everyone's like, what's wrong, Rose? And she's like, she set a trap.
Yeah, and it really messes up her hand in real life, which is crazy.
Yeah, she gets jacked up in real life because the damage had mentally been done to her, as well as kind of like on the astral plane, if you will, if you follow along with the type of telekinesis type of stuff, and psychic abilities where the physical damage had been done to her. So what else were you talking about?
Well, the reason why he's called Dr. Sleep.
Oh yes.
So the reason why he's called Doctor Sleep is he started working in basically in old folks like home, or I guess where they monitor, you know, people at the end of their lives, and they sit there and there's this cat that's there, and they kind of have a superstition that this cat basically goes in someone's room. If they have the foot of the bed, that means they're going to die. And then basically he started accompanying the cat, talking to people.
Because the first person he sees, he's trying to convince him that it's not true.
But
the patient's like, no, I already know the cat always comes to whoever about to pass away.
And then he basically tells him like, it's gonna happen. I can see it. And
he kind of like looks around like, okay, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And then he basically becomes that Dr. Sleep, where he goes in and helps people just basically die. Where he goes in before sleep. Yeah, where he goes in basically before they're about to die. He goes in and talks to them, and they're just like,
And interestingly enough, we kind of get to see what kind of like if you're into the metaphysics part of it, that people speculate that there's like energy that leaves your body as you die, but he can see like the steam is what the True Knot call it, leave someone's body, and at the moment they're about to die, whatever like their happy moment is what they recall or remember. Like, what was that one guy's like grapes or something like that?
Yeah, it was like grapes. Like it was him.
Like, I could taste grapes.
Yeah, the grapes, and then like it's him working on his car, and then he basically can hear like the radio playing on like his on his work
favorite
bench,
song.
his favorite song playing, and he's like basically helping remember like a really good happy moment. Before,
And then I think the other guy was like his wife or something.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool. It was very interesting to see that where he falls into a rhythm of like, hey, this is my thing, this is my calling, I can help these people. And it kind of helps him tap back into his shine, and he kind of embraces it just a little, not like a whole lot, but a little, enough. And it's during that time that Abras, as a little youth, starts to write on his wall, which was a blacked out chalk wall. And so she like says, hi, hello, and hi, and it has like little smiley faces.
Yeah, he's talking to her like, hey, school, get ready for school, things like that.
And then like as time goes forward, I think it's like 8 years that jumps into that, we kind of get to see the True Knots like use the other girl who in the film, her name is Snakebite Andy, kind of push another kid with a shine to follow them, and we get basically our first
come in our van, and they basically see them.
Yeah, and in my opinion, we get our first like true horror moment in the film, where which I don't know if you noticed, but that's the kid from the Good Boys.
Oh yeah.
The main kid?
Yes.
Yeah, which I
thought was too
weird. Which I felt even worse because I liked this character in the other movie. I'm like, why him?
Which I thought was really cool. They're abducting kids, and then also the scene is he's walking past a cornfield.
Yes. Yes. Huge references right there.
Yeah, like this whole Children of Corn thing where he's walking past a cornfield as they're going through, and I'm like, okay, I see that.
And then like even the turnoff from there is like basically like close by a cornfield too.
Yeah.
And so they basically take him to this old, like, looks like kind of almost like an abandoned mill.
Yeah.
And decide to like kind of like spread eagle him and like slowly stab him because
pain increases the steam to come out.
Fear.
Yeah, fear.
Purify his steam. Well, I was like, oh, that does not sound good. Yeah. And then she takes out this little like kind of sharp stabby tool and is like, I'm not sure where she stabs him initially. It looks like his thigh maybe, or like his maybe his stomach.
Yeah, and then she just keeps doing it over and over.
Like she just keeps kind of digging and going at it. And
then Abra basically feels all of this.
Because she can see it.
Yeah, she can see it. She's there, and she just wants him to stop.
And it's affecting her so much, and her shine is so powerful that Rose the Hat technically can see that she's watching. Yeah. And then she gets so affected, her like last kind of like scream cracks the wall.
Cracks the wall with the chalkboard.
And where Dan's at.
Red rum.
Because that's all the True Knots are thinking, like murder. And then they even have this scene where it pans back, looking down, and you see the little boy that they're stealing the shine from is gurgling up blood as they're stealing the last bit of his like steam. They can forcibly get it just doing the stabbing, screaming while he's alive. Now, I thought it was crazy that they do that last chest push
to get whatever
else was captured in him that they
to use for later.
Yeah, which is technically like it almost looks like that's like the essence that they capture.
Yeah.
And then while you're alive, they take your like shine
Right.
power, and then like they basically steal your essence when you're like dead. That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Little gruesome from what it was, right? Because it's a little boy freaking getting basically stabbed and tormented by adults.
Yes.
So it was pretty wild.
Which basically starts the whole war because now Abra wants to take down Rose, and it kind of starts that whole.
Yep.
I can get her. I can take care. I know I can set traps. I can do all this.
Because she realizes this isn't the first kid that's gone missing from them doing this.
Which, I mean, she does pretty well. But at the same time, she does get tricked, which ends up with her dad being killed.
Yes. From Crow Daddy.
Yes.
Because he has his own little tricks that he mentions.
Yes.
So that was interesting. The other aspect I think that was kind of cool was the parts where she's like jumping into like the vehicle with him.
Yeah.
And then jumping back out. And then also where Danny does the thing where she's just awake enough and just has just enough shine where he's able to
like
kind of
her body.
Go in her body.
Her
and
body.
He's like, I got a trick to show you. And he's like, crashes the
He's
car.
like, oh well. I mean, you're basically immortal, so you think nothing can kill you, so that's why you don't wear seatbelts.
He's like,
and he just crashes the car.
And then the way the True Knots die is like crazy.
Yeah, like they kind of melt and disintegrate.
Yeah, it's like a weird like melt to steam type of thing. Like you don't actually see their bodies like melt. You just see like their fleshy frames kind of I don't know, like peel back to show like skeleton and like just a little bit of tendon.
Yeah.
Like not a whole lot. And then they kind of just like kind of scream in horror and terror, and it definitely looks painful. And then it just kind of poof into nothing.
Yes.
Right? It's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of creepy the fact that Abra's watching and like seems to be enjoying.
Well, because she's like, you killed my dad. Like she's like, I hope it hurts. I hope this actually. So she's looking like, I hope this actually really hurts.
And
you.
she's like really close to his body too. Like
he was like, I hope this actually hurts.
Yeah, feel it.
As bad as it looks.
Feel it.
But all this comes down because at the end, Danny has a plan to beat Rose because she's so strong.
And then to point out too, so Rose the Hat is on her own. Definitely was not strong enough to beat the two of them, Danny and Abra, because Abra by herself was basically like the strongest. But the reason why Rose becomes strong is because all the canisters she was saving up to keep their like kind of like their little horde, so to speak, if you will, their little traveling camp alive. She's like, I'm just gonna take it on myself.
They're all dead.
Because they're all dead.
They're all dead, so I might as well just
power up,
all of it and power up. And now they're gonna be in a hotel. Which Danny's like, well, she's just coming here thinking that we just come to location. He's like, I know what this place is.
Yep.
This place is filled with like basically ghosts and spirits that do what she does.
They feed off the shine.
They feed off the shine, but they're even, more of a threat than she is.
Because they're super hungry because why? He's had them trapped for like 30-some plus years.
Trapped and locked away.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, we get her here. I'm just going to let it go in this hotel. And even the hotel still has like spirits and stuff there that he hasn't locked away because he's walking through the hotel. He tells her, hey, you stay outside. And she's like, well, why are you stay outside? I'm going to go wake up the hotel.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want you to have to interact with it any longer than you need to.
And you see him as he goes through, like the lights start coming on, everything starts coming on.
Before he turns the generator on.
Yeah, like he doesn't actually, he turns the generator.
My bad. He doesn't flip any switches.
Yeah, he doesn't flip any switches. He turns the generator on.
Yeah.
But as he walks room to room, like the lights just automatically come on.
Like the hotel's like, yo, what up, Danny?
Yeah, it feels his presence, and you can tell like, the hotel's feeling his presence.
Yeah.
And like the spirits and stuff are going, oh, he's back. Because even Holleran told him to this place.
Yeah.
It's like when you were that's why all that stuff happened when you were a kid.
Yep. It got drawn to him even more because they're like it had never seen anything like that before.
Yes.
So on top of it being like a battery, he ended up being like a huge light bulb. Like, oh, so they were all drawn to him. So that's why the spirits kept coming to him afterwards, like, hey, what's up? And then him having that moment with the bartender, who originally is Lloyd, um, is technically the character of Jack Nicholson played, which would have been awesome if Jack
actually came back
to come that scene.
Yeah, where he's like just talking to him as a dad. Like,
but they do get a guy who looks enough passable for Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And he plays the bartender, and they have like a moment where they kind of
the whole father son, where but it's still the dad is like technically still the hotel.
Yes.
So it's like he's trying to talk to him like it's his dad.
He's trying to play on his fears.
Yeah, and then he's like, but it's still the hotel, and then he's still trying to offer him a drink. Hey, drink, because he knows that makes him weak.
Yeah. Yeah, because basically all the really strong spirits have already came at Danny already.
Yes.
And he's already put those away. So anything that's left in the hotel is technically not as strong.
Yeah.
So it would want. I was like, hey, like I need you in a weakened state so I can attack you.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, no, not gonna get me, not gonna get me.
Finally meets that whatever, but Rose finally meets Danny, and she's like, have you been away from me this like?
Yeah, like where have you been hiding? And then she realized like, oh,
like she felt him before, but actually find him.
Yeah, like you must have told yourself. She's like, because your shine is like greased.
Yeah.
You know, you've been drinking. Da 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 da. And
she can still feel that how much power he has.
he's still real powerful, and she's just basically saying like, okay, well, like you're strong, like you just don't know how to use it.
Yes.
So she's super amped up, like a little bit of super. Where I say like, there's a psychic aspect line, and it kind of looks like there's a telekinetic aspect, depending on the level of strength. She is augmented so much so that she literally lifts him up and throws him downstairs. I'm like, this woman's frame is nowhere.
And then she was like, oh, I'm about to take him out. He can't fight. Well, and where Abra gets her in the maze.
Yes.
I've been going around, and she's like, wait a minute. Mine am I in? And Danny's like, well, got something for you. And you see all like those lock boxes opening.
Which is crazy. Like to me, it's crazy that he was so committed to his plan. I don't think he planned on getting jacked up as he did, right? Like axe ends up kind of coming back to bite him because she uses it and stabs him in his femoral artery in his leg.
Yeah.
And she's like, pressing on it to make him scream and get the fear. So his steam. And then like Danny's like, okay, she's like 100% confident she's gonna win. I'm open up all these boxes.
Yes.
And he goes, he's like, you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
And she's like, of course I do. And then he's like,
you don't know where this place is.
Yeah. And he's like, there are things here that are far more worse than you, and hungrier.
Around and you see like the hotel staff and
then
kids.
You see the twins. You see the old hotel staff. You see the original groundskeeper. You just see like all the lady from the bathtub, and they're all reaching for her. Their hands are like melding into her skin, and you see like the fingers go into her face, through her nose, her mouth, and she's just like
they're just draining her.
They're just draining, and they're like I don't know, like in pure ecstasy.
That was there was a scene going on. I'm like, Danny, you might want to move.
Yeah.
You might want to move, Danny.
and it sucks because he is legit like injured. So he's kind of watching this, and he's like,
yeah. And they basically just get her.
He moves away, but he can't get up and run because of his leg. So he's kind of like edging back, like, yeah, take that. Oh crap.
And then they basically finished for her, and it turned to him like, guess next. And he's like, oh.
The twin classic line, come play with us, Danny, forever. Right? And then he's like, no.
Yeah, and so they start doing it to him.
And it's weird because they do that quick flash to all the boxes where he had them trapped, and they're all shaking like as if he's trying to use them to trap them, but given the fact that he's already physically weakened,
and then he's a little bit
has been technically been kind of lowered a little bit, and there's all of them. It's kind of you're like, oh crap, he's not going to be able to capture them all at once. So then you have a scene where Ewan McGregor technically is like reenacting almost exactly the way
Yeah,
Jack
like
Nicholson's
basically, yeah,
character.
the hotel possesses him like it possessed his dad.
Yep.
And so he's walking around the hotel with the axe, with the same type of limp, just going out and chasing her down. And then so she's out there like, oh,
Well, to be fair, Jack Nicholson's character technically never gets possessed, right? He just gets told what to do,
which I mean,
and it overtakes
it's kind
him.
it's kind of like implied like they're not fully possessed, but it sort of like
Yeah.
controls him.
Yeah.
Like his mental state.
It does a huge amount of suggestions,
Yeah.
a huge amount of mental suggestion. So, and then in this one, like the hotel is technically like, I don't want to tell you what to do. I just want to take over
Yeah.
you and use you.
But he has like the same sort of mannerisms and stuff as
yeah.
his dad, and
his
everything.
legs are already jacked, so he's got the limp.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
And then Abra's there, and it's like the twins coming after her, and everything else is coming after her.
Yeah.
And her basically coming out, and then her basically saving him, kind of like calming him down to come back and.
It was a really good callback. I really liked it. And then the fact that Abra tries to bring him back.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to tell him like, oh no, you're not gone. You're in there. You're stronger. You can fight this. So he does, but only momentarily. Like he admits like, hey, I can't hold it back and get out with you because I'm technically done for. Like I need to keep it here.
Yes.
So technically the essence of the hotel dies.
Yeah.
And that, you can live and it doesn't keep reaching out for other people.
Yeah. So it killed most of the essence in here because
Yeah.
whatever's in me already I can take out, and then there's a few that probably are still around, but nothing that she can't handle.
Yeah, which we find out later that somehow, some way he's explained to her like his method for trapping them in the box. So all in all, again, we, as you can tell, enjoyed it. So not a great like classic spectacular film, but a very enjoyable film. So yeah, hope everyone enjoys it. There are no end credits because there's no sequels.
Yes.
So
there's nothing after. You can go.
Yep. So thanks everyone once again for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Really appreciate it.
Share it to everybody.
If you made it all the way to the end of this almost 30-minute video, hashtag at the bottom, made it to the end.
All the way to the end.
And we're out. Peace.